It's an opportunity to get repetitions more than anything. I think a lot of people that are in kind of crowded, surfy places don't get enough reps. A typical session for us is like 50 to 70 waves in like an hour and a half. If you're gonna come, I would reserve stuff in advance. I've got probably 5 foil sets and 10, 12 boards. So we're, and I can get more stuff if you're coming in a big group. Whip in with with the boat. People that want to be on foil drive can do foil drive, and people that just want to prone can do prone. So most of us, we really like prone here. So yeah, because it's just so easy. He's gonna go poop on my jacuzzi right there.
This episode is sponsored by SurfEars. Did you know that when you're foiling in cold water, that your ear canal can actually close up? You can grow extra bone, and then you can either lose hearing or you can get infections because the water that gets in cannot get out. So you should protect yourself with SurfEars. SurfEars are made to protect your ear, but you can still hear, and that's the important issue. If you're on foil, you still want to hear the environment. So think about your health. Get your SurfEars in the link in the description. Stay safe.
This is Up on Foil, the podcast for everyone flying just above the surface. Pump, carve, soar, let's foil!
This episode is also sponsored by Foilsessions, but more on that later.
Perfect. Then welcome to this special episode of Up on Foil, the podcast where we talk all about foiling. And usually it always comes out on Monday. We have a regular guest, someone who's into foiling. Today, a very special episode with me. I'm Matt. I'm an average foiler, usually pump foiling, sometimes on the parrowing out as well. And with me is Robert Ross, Robbie, and you're in Ecuador. And you're a foiler in different disciplines. And maybe, Robert, you can just introduce yourself real quick. What are you doing in Ecuador, man?
Yeah, Matt. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've been here 15 years actually. I was an addicted surfer, living in LA. And I came down here. I was traveling the whole world surfing. I was actually working in corporate America for a bank and as a consultant. And every spare minute I had, I would run off to different parts of the world, whether it was Indonesia, Costa Rica, and that started in about 1999 when I started traveling to South and Central America, and really got the bug. So Tamarindo in '99. In 2002, I bought a $1,000 VW bus in LA, and me and a buddy drove it all the way to Pavones. And we took about 6 months to get there, and it was before the internet. Back then it was just kind of like email, and you didn't really have many maps online, and you had to send away for maps to the surf magazines. And so we had Mexico, and we spent a lot of time in Pascuales and Nexpa and all these beautiful spots, and we ended up in Nicaragua and just spent months in Nicaragua. And Nicaragua was a black hole back then. Popoyo was a secret spot. It didn't even have a name yet. It was called La Jolla. And we spent a lot of time there. We ended up going to Costa Rica and then back to Nicaragua and just staying there. But that's when I really decided that I was going to move down to a place like that. So my next trip in about 2005 was to Peru and Ecuador, and stumbled on the Montanita. Loved it. It's a right point break, which breaks a lot like trestles. So it's just soft, skatey, right point. And it's got a little party town. And the town, even back in 2005, was like, for everyone who's been to Sayulita or Tamarindo, um, a lot like that. Tamarindo is much bigger than it is now, but San Juan del Sur, it feels a lot like that. And luckily, I was part of an IPO at the bank. And by 2009, I had enough money to check out. So I moved down here in 2011. And again, just as an addicted surfer, I wasn't kiting back then. And I started kiting in 2016. I went to Peru, down in Mancora, and the waves went flat. And someone walked up to me on the beach, a girl in a bikini, and said, "Do you want to learn to kite? All your buddies are learning." I said, "Sure, let's go." And she said, "Okay, meet me at this time." And it was like an hour later, and I showed up, and none of my buddies were there. And like, "Oh, all your buddies canceled." I said, "Okay, give me the lesson. Let's do it." And so I went on the lesson, and as soon as I got done with the lesson, decided I left. There's a guy down there named Paulo Rios. Anybody goes to Mancor or wants to foil in northern Peru, he's the guy. He's got that whole coast dialed. I was actually just talking to him, and yeah, so I immediately called my buddy here in Ecuador who had been staying at my hotel in Montanita, who'd always been inviting me up. And there's a wind spot about 2 hours from here. And moved up there for 4 or 5 months and just learned to kite. So kiting with the twin tip, kiting with the surfboard, was addicted to chasing waves around the world with a kite for a few years, started traveling and fell into foiling. We have days up there where it's like 12, 13 knots. And that's when kite foiling started. And we have waves up there. So it's a spot with a lot of waves. And I was going back and forth between Montanita and Santa Marinita. And it's an amazing spot up there for foiling in wind. And I started watching guys prone on YouTube. And I was like, man, I surfed 20 years, 25 years. I can do that. And I went and I had a rep at Access who I love, Nick Obey, for everybody knows Nick. And he sent me some prone stuff down here. And yeah, I started proning out in front of the house and immediately
How
kind of
easy
like
was that
nearly
for you,
knocking
man?
myself unconscious.
Yeah,
It
I
was
was because
it was
it
back in
is
the
quite
days. This was
different.
probably 2001 or 2002. So, just a bunch of grainy videos on the internet. And so I immediately, went out to the closest beach break and put my knee through the board, and the next day put a gash in my head. That's when I went and got a helmet. But yeah, I spent the last 5 years now, I guess, just discovering waves everywhere in Ecuador for foiling. So mostly my passion now. I got really into winging, prone and toe. And toe boogie, like toe boogie is definitely my favorite toy.
This episode is sponsored by Foilsessions. Whether it is pump foiling, winging, or pair winging, this app tracks time on foil, upwind angles, and much, much more. For downwinding, you can set a destination and you'll get directions on your watch or on the earphones. Try it for free on the link in the description.
It looks amazing. So how was
Yeah.
your transition onto foil? Like you said, proning, but it is quite different from regular surfing. How was that for you? Did you like
Yeah,
manage to do it
so
in a couple of sessions, or was
it
that a longer
no,
journey?
it took a while not a while, but to figure out, because we have these like amazing reefs here, and there are these reefs where a Pacific swell hits, and we have waves year round, and it just comes over the reef and just crumbles, just perfect crumbly waves.
Oh, nice.
But
Soft.
yeah, of course, when you're learning, you don't know that's what you're looking for. So as a surfer, I was just like, I'm going out in anything. And so it took a couple of weeks before you figured that out. And then the other thing here is the tides are pretty heavy, so it goes from completely dry to like a lake over a 6 hour period. And so learning the tides, I smashed a lot of wings in the rocks. Just learning when and where. And so I was probably up on foil proning within 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, like being able to ride a wave a couple 100 meters. Cause here the reefs are so soft that you can like let the wave break kind of 30 meters out past you and just let the white water pick you up.
Oh,
And then,
nice.
yeah, it's kind of like learning a longboard where you take off straight. You don't have to go down the line. It's warm water, so it's not as scary. I remember when I was surfing in LA a lot, a big wave that hits you, which is, 40 degrees or 50 degrees is way, way bigger than a wave that hits you when it's 80 degrees. So the water here is 80 degrees. And it's just kind of, there's these spots where it's just a mushy kind of reefy wave, and then they reform. So the white water picks you up, and after 20, 30 meters, it disappears. And so you just have this kind of wave face that you can surf. And that makes it so surfers don't want to go to these spots. So that's
Yeah,
the best part about our spots is they're completely empty of surfers. We have these reefs that if a surfer goes, they can get into the wave, but after 10, 20 meters, the wave disappears and you can only foil it.
that's
And
perfect for foiling,
yeah,
really. Yeah.
So, we're always foiling alone. And then it was just kind of a couple years of discovery. It took a couple years of trying different spots, different tides, and now we have our waves, and it's awesome. Like pretty much every tide, every day of the year, we have a place that we can foil near my hotel. So my hotel, all these waves are within 20 minutes of my hotel, and just depending on the tides and the time of year, we pick a different spot and go. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Just for the listeners who just tuned in, um, I want to learn more about like how you moved there, how you actually got to live there. You said you have a hotel. We're going to talk about your foil retreat that you have common for May. So people who are interested in a foil retreat, that's super interesting. But I want to like get back on that wave because that sounds like the perfect wave, as you said, to start proning. Do you even need like a foil drive or a foil assist, like the boogie for that? Because it sounds like
No,
the
so
wave itself is the perfect foil assist.
yeah, so I have a full drive. I just never use it. And I loved it. I loved it when I was in a windy spot. So my hotel is in a really, really glassy spot. The most wind we really get throughout the year is about 5 knots. And then we have
Oh
this
wow.
protected cove. So even that 5 knots doesn't even really get in. The water stays groomed year round. And then we get swell year round. So there's not really a period of the year where there's no swell. So I had a foil drive. I did the backpack foil drive. So I didn't like the weight on the board, so I took the Gen 1 and I put it in the backpack. But that was more when I was up north in the windy spot. So
Mhm.
they get wind even at 7 in the morning. They're getting like 8 to 10 knots up there. So I would go out with the full drive in that spot, and it worked fantastic for that. Here I'm mostly on the boogie, towing, or prone. Um, that's year round. So it's really good. Our summer for you guys who are in Europe, if you're trying to escape the cold. So the best months of the year here are December through May, and that's kind of your cold season there. So it's actually perfect for you guys to come over here if you want to get away, get to warm water, get to a green tropical place. So it doesn't feel like Peru here. Peru's got a desert climate. We have like a tropical jungle climate, kind of like Costa Rica. And the water's 80 degrees. We're in trunks. And it's 100% you're going to score here for foiling those months. Those are great months to visit here if you want to escape the cold of Europe.
Yeah, that's like being able to defrost really. That
Yeah, and I've
sounds
taught
that
a lot of
sounds
people at this point. So because the wave's so easy, if you have any foiling experience, you're gonna be able to learn here. You're gonna get much better. The big thing is to come kind of like if you're not a surfer, come fit. Do some swimming before you come because you do have to paddle. But that would be for you guys that have more of like a wind background. um, that's probably the biggest stumbling block is not having enough strength in your arms to learn prone. But for you guys, we also have the boat. So we have a boat we take out in the same reef, so we can park the boat out there, and people can go between prone and tow. Do like take turns. We do a couple whips with the boat, and then if you want to go try prone, you can just paddle in. So very easy to just park the boat out there for you guys, because a lot of guys with kite background are really
yeah.
comfortable with the rope and can tow right away, but aren't strong enough to prone. So we do both here.
Let's get into that foil retreat. It's
Okay.
from the 23rd to the 30th of May this year.
Yeah.
And you said it's for foil drive, prone, and tow foil. And as we've just heard, there might be, for people who come, they might do some exercise before they arrive. There are also other people that people might know gonna be there next to you. It's gonna be Julia Castro from Fuerteventura, Fuerte Julia, and Luke Moore. Um, and that's amazing. How many people
I want
do
to
you
show you something
expect
real quick. Do you
to
see
be
the iguana
there?
on the back?
Oh wow,
Do you see it?
man! Oh yeah, an iguana.
Just walking. He's gonna go poop on my jacuzzi right there.
That's so cool. I was there. I told you like 20 years ago, and there's this park in Guayaquil where it is
I had to do
full
that. It was too
of
good.
iguana. That's
Now he's heading back
crazy.
out to the tree.
That's amazing. So
Yeah, it's really a beautiful spot here, just full
we
of
can talk about
nature.
wildlife as well. And if I recall correctly, you talked about the Galapagos Island that are not too far away from you either. But let's talk about the camp first.
Yep.
Julia's gonna be there. Luke Moore's gonna be there. You are gonna be there.
Yep.
How many people do you expect? How is that camp gonna look like? And Robbie, just to tell you, if you see me wobbling around, I'm standing on a balance board that Indiana sent me. So
Good for you.
I'm just like going back there, practicing a bit for foiling if I cannot foil at the moment. So please tell me about that camp. Like, what can people expect when they want to come?
Yeah, so we're hoping for 10 people. And if we get more than that, then we'll probably split it into 2 weeks. I'm gonna be kind of your guide instructor. I've uh from Ecuador. So and we also have our guide Menthol Foil, and we're going to be more on the prone toe side. So Menthol actually, a lot of people follow him. He's become pretty popular online. Menthol Foil. He's an amazing prone guide, and he's an ex surfer, recovering surfer. Now he pretty much just is prone. He's really really good. And then I'm going to help with prone and toe. He doesn't toe. And then Julia will be here to do foil drive. I might fall dry too. And so the idea is whatever anybody falls in that spectrum, we get some older people that want to do just fall drive. Other people would probably want to improve their prone and toe because this is really the place to do it. And we have this reef. The reef probably runs 5 kilometers, so it completely spreads out. We can have everybody out there at the same time. And then we'll also park the boat behind. So again, people that want to do whips, whip in with with the boat. People that want to be on foil drive can do foil drive, and people that just want to prone can do prone. So most of us, we really like prone here. So yeah, because it's just so easy and not a lot of equipment, and so we do a lot of prone here. But happy to get the boat out there in full drive as well.
Are people gonna like have classes, or is it more like, all right, let's get out together, we show you what to do, and then people are out there on them by themselves?
Yeah, no, no, no. So I'm gonna be in the water, and Mental will be in the water. So for those that want to do classes, absolutely, we're gonna take you through kind of lessons and how to do it. And then we'll also have a photographer and videographer. So we're gonna have footage, and we can look at footage, and that really helped me a lot, to be honest. Especially with things like pumping, and kind of like improving your style when you're doing a turn on a wave, where to, and surfers do this too, where to put your arms. And a lot of people don't know what they're doing with their arms until they see it on video. So we'll have video and photos every day as part of the tour. And yeah, it's an opportunity to really improve. It's an opportunity to get repetitions more than anything. I think a lot of people that are in kind of crowded surfy places don't get enough reps. um a typical session for us is like 50 to 70 waves in like an hour and a half. It's
Wow, that's
crazy.
impressive.
Yeah, so you multiply that over, 5 years, and, you just get enough repetitions. I know a lot of people in these places, there's a lot of surfers and you're competing for waves. You're just not getting enough reps to really improve. So, from beginners that just need a wave that they can go straight and not be bothered because it's a wave where you can take off straight, and just get pushed by the whitewater, to kind of intermediate advanced that are just trying to get reps because you want to be able to do better turns. You're going to be able to get that here. All abilities.
But people who sign up should be able to foil some sort already.
Um,
It's not for total beginners, is it?
I mean, it could be, it depends on your background. So if you don't have any water, I actually just took a kind of a beginner's surfer out yesterday, and he didn't really have enough experience to do prone, but I would put him behind the boat. So,
Okay.
like, so depending on your background, so if you're like a beginner surfer, but you know how to water ski, I might put you behind the boat because at least that gets you on foil. For people that already have foil experience, so if you're already able to kind of cruise around on foil, whether it's with a kite or with a wing, then you can do anything here. But for somebody that doesn't have a lot of surf or foil experience, I'd probably put them behind the boat and teach them with a big board, and it's a different process. For that,
So,
you'd probably need privates more than you want to go on a retreat because you
okay,
really need a lot of, like, if you don't have
attention.
any foil experience, but it kind of depends on your level. So if you're strong, if you're a good surfer without any foil experience, great, we can take you. But if you're not much of a surfer and not much foil experience, like a complete beginner, then you probably want to come and do private lessons.
But they should still come, I guess. And we talked
Yeah.
about like your hotels and what you can offer besides that. But it probably
Yeah,
also
so this
depends.
is kind of a cool thing because it's such a great place for families and for couples also. I've been to Chicama a bunch of times, and my wife threatened to leave the last time and won't ever go back because it's just boring if you're not in the water, right? So here we have it's a great place for families. So as part of this retreat, you can actually add a non-foiling significant other or child for virtually nothing. It's very cheap.
Let's
So
talk
if you want to,
price real quick because
what's that?
that's let's talk price real quick because that's important.
Yeah. So if you're coming by yourself, it's $27.50 for the week. But let's say you're coming with yourself and you wanted to add a significant other as a couple, you just add on $500. And so it ends up being a very, competitive price. As a group, if you want to come with 3 to 6 people, I think the price is 2,000 per person, and that's for foilers. But again, if you're coming as a group, 3 to 6 people, and you want to just add significant other and two kids, let's say it's $500 for the adult and 250 per child, I think. And so it's very, very we're positioned to be able to take families and significant others, and they'll have a great time here. The hotel has beautiful pools, and it's a beautiful tropical place with snorkeling and horseback riding and all the things you'd want for your family. If you're going to be in the water for 6 hours a day, you're going to want to send your family someplace nice. So we have all those things, boat trips and things like that.
And Ecuador is known to be not too expensive if you want to
Yeah.
do something other than water sports. Um, what else? You said horseback riding is a thing. I mean, it's warm. They can just go into the water. What should people bring? Do they have to bring their own gear like boards and foils and whatnot?
So I have Access Rentals, and I personally ride Code. So there's some Code stuff too. So I started on Access, went to Code. Now I go back between them. I do like both brands a lot. Um, and and I have a bunch of different size boards for up from 60. I'm about 80 kilos, so that anything if you're between 70 and 90, I probably have you covered. If you don't want to travel with a board. So I have boards starting at I ride about a 35-liter prone board up to my wing boards are in that 60 to 65. So everything in that range. And then my foils right now I'm riding mostly Code 850 and Code 810. But I have all the bigger sizes also, and I have smaller. And then Axis, I'm riding the Surge 890 mostly. I like that's a nice wing. They did a good job with that one. Then I have some bigger Spitfires, so the Spitfire 1030, Spitfire 10, 960, which are really, really good wings to learn on. If you're learning prone, you're learning toe. The Spitfires are nice and slow and stable. So those are good wings to learn on. So we would mostly
So you
teach
could
on
you
that.
could start on a Spitfire maybe, and then as you progress during the week, you could change it up.
Exactly. Once you're kind of ready for more pumping, switching to a more high aspect wing is a great switch. But when you're learning, those wings are great to just they're super stable and not that fast.
That sounds really
Yeah.
cool.
So
Um,
yeah, so just look, I would if you're gonna come, I would reserve stuff in advance. I've got probably 5 foil sets and 10, 12 boards. So we're and I can get more stuff if you're coming in a big group.
so if people are interested and not even sure if they should come, but like have more questions, I'm gonna have the link down in the show notes where you can find Robbie and ask questions. Just you don't know yet, or is it almost full, or do you still have a lot of
No,
space?
we just
How is
started
it?
marketing this week.
Okay?
So we're getting a bunch of inquiries. And this is the first real retreat we've done down here. So just
All right.
I think we actually offered if you're at the Foil Surf Race League this week, a trip down here is a prize for each of the winners. So there's 7
Oh,
different
nice.
categories. So the top category, I think Open Prone gets to attend the retreat, but everybody else receives a tour for free down here for 4 nights. So hopefully we get some good publicity out of that with Luke and Julie and everybody starting publicity kind of this week. We just started putting it out there.
So
So
if people are interested, they can just ask you what they should do. If they should bring their own gear,
yeah,
depending on who comes, then you might change the program as well.
yeah,
Are
exactly.
you
I would say message me through ecuadorfoil.com or through my Instagram, Ecuador Foil. The hotel is the Mi Hotel, Montanita States. Send me a message on WhatsApp. Don't just do it on email. Probably send both in case it gets kind of lost in spam filters because I had a few that weren't getting through. Um, and yeah, happy to answer any questions. I can jump on the phone with people. No problem.
and I saw the pictures of the hotel and the spots. It looks really amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
So
so
yeah,
cool.
the hotel I started building it in 2012, and we opened our first vacation rentals in 2013. So it runs really well. We're in a little kind of surf party town. Even when I'd like to have more foilers, but the hotel is pretty full even when we don't have foilers.
Let's talk about those hotels and how you got that. If I recall correctly, you talked to Luke about it. You made some money off when you worked in that bank, something with debit cards, prepaid debit cards, something like that. How
Yes.
is it then to really say, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna invest a lot? I don't know how much it was, but I'm gonna invest a lot. That's my goal. How does that feel? How did it work out? And what were maybe the difficulties? Can you talk us about that story?
Yeah, so I'm 47 years old now. And I've been down here 15 years. So I was kind of in my late my late 20s when I was kind of walking around LA, at work, thinking, man, I don't want to do this when I'm 40. So that's when it really got serious and I was making good money. And I knew from all my trips to Nicaragua and Mexico and Indonesia and Ecuador and Peru and all the different places that I didn't really need everything that came with being in the United States. I preferred kind of dirt roads and sandals and cows in the street, monkeys in the trees. So it was a pretty easy decision to take off. Probably, I don't think anybody really took me seriously. I don't think anybody really thought like I told people that I was leaving.
Who, like
And
your
I don't think
parents,
anybody
and
ever
you have
did.
siblings?
I have 4 brothers, all of them in LA. Well, 3 of them in
How
LA.
did they react?
I think everybody thought I'd be back after 3 to 6 months, and I remember when I sold everything, so there lunch down here in Montanita, there's a set lunch, it's a cultural thing where everybody goes for set lunch. You receive, a piece of fish, rice, and patacones, a soup, and a juice for $3.50. It's a great deal.
Wow.
It's a set menu, and they change it every day. So one day it's shrimp, one day it's fish, and I'd been coming down here, and I knew that. So I went back, and when I was ready to finally go, I had a party at my house, and I was in Manhattan Beach in LA and I had everything at the house, and I sold everything in the house for $3.50 per item. So whether it was a coffee maker or a suit, or I think my couch I sold for a little bit more, but I sold everything for $3.50 for the price of an armoire, so it's called. I remember
Nice.
when one of my best friends walked into my closet and I had all my suits for $3.50 each. And he went in and he grabbed all of them. And he gave me like 80 bucks and he took all my suits. It was like 15 suits. And that was how I sold everything at home. And so I was out. I came down here with 6 surfboards and a dog. Um and uh and yeah, never looked back. Best decision I ever made.
Not
Um
not needing a suit is actually something that
Yeah,
is
yeah, it's
really
it's one of the
great,
benefits
man.
of living here. I think
That's a
I kept
relief.
one at my mom's house for a few years for weddings and funerals, and, I just stopped going back, so eventually she was like, "I'm throwing this away." She didn't want it in her closet anymore. So yeah, I don't own a suit. I barely own shoes. I have mud
Oh,
boots,
man.
but, yeah, just live in sandals. One of the benefits of living here, you don't really doesn't really matter so much how you look. T-shirt and boardies every day.
That is really cool. Like, that's a
Yeah.
life goal that actually is worth having, I think. the shoes
Yeah.
thing, the suit thing. How was it when you came as a gringo to South America, setting everything up? I can imagine it is quite difficult also because you're an outsider. I don't know how good your Spanish was back then. Um, did you like encounter any problems with that?
No, no, I mean, South America is a lot different than Central America. So
Mhm.
once you get kind of south of Panama, there's a lot less English. So once you get into Colombia and Ecuador and Peru, so definitely tricky from a business standpoint. I remember when I got here and our my doctor, my lawyer, and my accountant, nobody spoke English. And like those are things that you really want to be able to communicate. So like learning enough Spanish and to do things that are serious was difficult. But just getting along day by day. The locals here are awesome. I was a surfer and I bought a truck as soon as I got here and made immediate friends because I was willing to go surf anywhere, anytime, so I had friends right away driving up and down the coast looking for waves. Um, and yeah, it was really good. My Spanish was fine. I'm now married to a Colombian. We have 3 kids. I have 2 kids from an ex. I've had 5 kids born here. Been through pretty much everything that can happen, from buying property to having babies to running a business, to just kind of following your dream on a passion project like foiling. I've done it all here, and I love it. I don't look back ever. There's not one day that goes by where I wish I hadn't done this or had gone in a different direction. We did a lot of traveling, and there's a lot of great places in the world, whether it's in Philippines or Indonesia or Costa Rica. But there was never a place that we visited that we're like, man, we need to close up shop and go there. This place is fantastic. Yeah, to live and to have our lives. Yeah. We love Brazil, like Jericoacoara in northern Brazil and Dominican Republic. These are all places that we love, but it was never like, man, we need where we are is just a beautiful, beautiful tropical place. And now with kids and foiling, we're pretty settled.
Maybe you can tell listeners who are not familiar with Ecuador, who have never been there, why should people come to Ecuador, except maybe for the wave that you already talked about? It's on the equator, so yes, it's pretty warm. Usually, you talked about the tropical weather. Why should people visit Ecuador?
Yeah, so for our European friends, it's actually really easy to get here from Europe. So there's nonstop flights from Madrid and Amsterdam. And they're actually generally really inexpensive. So round trip should be between 800 900 US dollars. If you
It's
book out in
crazy.
advance, sometimes like 750. It's crazy. There's a lot of traffic going back and forth to Madrid. And it's just an overnight, and then you're out on the beach with us in 2 hours. Beautiful beaches here, great waves for foaling. We've already kind of gone through that. But for those that really want to like get to know Ecuador, we also have the mountains. So the Andes Mountains are absolutely stunning, and there's a couple cities here in the mountains. One called Cuenca, and I know everybody's really familiar with Quito, but the colonial cities in the mountains. It's like visiting a different country. You've got all the Incan ruins up there, and then you also have fantastic restaurants and cobblestone roads, different climate, so it's a little bit cooler. And you really get to feel kind of like Andean culture, which is super cool. So it's almost like combining 2 vacations into one. If you wanted to have a foiling vacation as well as kind of an Andes cultural experience. And then if you divers, the Galapagos. So Guayaquil, where you fly in from Montanita, is actually the touch point for the Galapagos also. And Galapagos is known for the best diving in the world. Definitely, it's more expensive than where I live. So if you're coming for waves and for foiling, I would just come to us because it's probably a third of the price. You're getting kind of the cultural experience. But if you are into diving, I don't think anything competes with Galapagos in the entire world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wildlife there must be spectacular. Um,
Yeah, and then
yes,
the
as
the
you said,
last thing would be the jungle. So there's also, the Amazon part, and so you really get this kind of um, uh, 4 different types of vacations all in one. So depending on how much time you wanted to stay, um, yeah.
So
in the
if
time of
people
year. So
come
if you
to
want,
your
we also have
retreats,
wind here. So I generally keep a house in our wind destination also.
what's
So
the wind destination?
yeah, so 2 hours north of my hotel, there's a place called Santa Marinita, which is gets wind from June through December. Um, and the wind there is generally between 15 to 20 knots. You do have some days of 12 to 14 also. So really good for foiling. And it's a wave spot. So again, there's an offshore reef. You can ride waves double overhead. Pretty consistent waves. So there's always waves. And a great tow spot. So we have a bunch of left points up there. I have a boat up there also. So during our windy season, I used to spend more time up there. Now that I have more kids, I'm spending more time at home. And we're not going up there as much. But anybody that's interested in doing kind of like a combined wind and prone and tow tour, then we would actually do that 2 hours to the coast.
So you're not only a hotel owner and organizing these retreats, you're also kind of a guide,
Yeah,
like a
because I
tourist
like doing
guide?
it. I like meeting other foilers. I like meeting people who are foiling from other parts of the world. So we do have a guide, but I'm always like I'm always on the tour.
So it's probably best, especially if people come from Europe, because it's an overnight flight. It's pretty a long travel still. They should make it 2 weeks and they
Yeah,
should explore the country as well. Because I remember Ecuador was incredible. As you've said, you have everything there. And
yeah,
it's not that expensive. I remember Banos a little bit,
yeah.
like
Banos is awesome. So that would be
a
another
lot of
town to go to while you're here. Yeah, Banyas is
lot of
really, really
great
cool.
places.
Yeah, so we don't include food in our packages, and the reason is because the food is so good here and it's really inexpensive. It's all fresh seafood. You know, a typical really great lunch is gonna be $10 for fresh seafood, mahi-mahi, octopus, shrimp, straight out of the ocean to your plate for $10. And then for a great meal, it's 15, $20. And that's on the high end. You can be eating for $7 to $12 your meals too. And then it's a very international town, so there's a lot of people like me who've moved from other parts of the world, whether they're Argentinian or Chilean or Colombian or European, and they've set up restaurants. So actually the best restaurant in the entire area has a Swiss chef, and he's the food is just outstanding. And he does like a kind of a mixed fusion menu of Ecuadorian and European cuisine. It's called Momo. It's amazing. And and yeah, so we have just a lot of really just great food at really good prices.
That is incredible. If people
What's a
comment, they
hamburger in
follow.
Switzerland cost now?
Dude, you know the hamburger index, the Big Mac index? Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
Yes, for all the listeners who are not familiar with that, it's how long you have to work until you can afford a Big Mac. And Switzerland is actually the most expensive Big Mac there is, which, cost of of living is super high. If you go to a restaurant and get a burger, it's 20, $25,
That's
depending where you go. A Big Mac is probably about $8 or $9. Um,
yeah.
but it's what it is, really. But if
Yeah.
you go abroad, if you travel somewhere, the Swiss franc, that's a currency here, is really powerful. So
Mhm.
um, that
Yeah, I'm
shouldn't
giving
be a
prices.
problem.
We're actually on the US dollar here, and the US dollar is tanking. It's gonna get cheaper for you guys here.
Yeah. But if people come and they foil with you for a week, and then they say, "All right, I want to do some surfing, like some longboarding or something." I suppose there are a bunch of places where you could rent a surfboard as well.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to combine your vacation with a surf trip, our guide Henry is a fantastic surfer. We actually just did 2 surf trips this week.
Oh,
And we
nice.
have to
Or
sometimes
if you come with the
yeah, we
family
have
who
to
are not
sometimes
familiar.
hide the fact that he's a foiler. We can't actually talk about that with surfers.
Oh, really? Is that a problem sometimes?
For surfers from other locations, like here we foil by ourselves. There's only there's only a handful of people foiling in the whole country. So when you look at prone, there's 4 of us who prone. For tow, there's maybe 5 that tow in the whole
Okay.
country. and for wing, there's less than 10 that wing in the whole
Really?
country.
Wow.
And no, once you get into like kite surfing, there's a lot more people that twin tip, and not even that many people kite with a surfboard. It's mostly kiting and twin tip. So a lot of foiling hasn't really caught on here. And then
Why
there's
is
a lot of
that? That due
surfers
to the
in this
price?
area. There's a lot of surfers.
Is that due to the price that people are not foiling, or why do you think that is?
It's just really foreign here still. I mean, people see what we're doing, and sometimes I'll run my boat out and tow into a wave where there's a bunch of surfers just really to mess with them. Because it looks so foreign to people, especially surfers who anybody that's hung out with surfers, the more closed-minded. So however you think of surfers in LA, it's even more foreign to people here. So that and like access to equipment, like it took me months to get equipment. Even now, if I want to get a new wing, I have to usually wait 2 or 3 months, and it's expensive. So yeah, there's definitely a price. So I've taught. We've got two guides who I taught, and um, yeah, and I've taught some other people, but there's a lot of like we have like some pro surfers who've tried it here and just quit right away. They didn't want to
Really?
cook out again. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is. But we are foilers. We know it is totally worth going through that struggle, and it is a struggle.
exactly.
I mean, every new discipline in foiling, I think it's gonna be easy, and then I'm gonna struggle a couple of sessions until I get it. Like now with the pairwing, I'm pretty okay, I'd say, but still
Yeah.
beginning with the pairwing, it took a while. Have you tried the pairwing as well?
So I just got a Parawing. I still don't have a big board, so I'm waiting on a board. I need to get a 95-liter board,
Yeah.
because my biggest board's about 65. But I just got one, and I'll have the board by May to start trying it in June. And yeah, I'm talking to my wife about heading up to the windy spot for a month and just going every day until I get it. We
What
have
pairwing did
like
you get?
we have really, really, I think, good bumps and wind for downwind and parawing. And we have kind of like a downwind wind run that would be about 10 to 12 kilometers. Um,
That's
and it would
perfect.
be really good. So I'm excited to try. Uh, I, I, I think my learning curve will be like winging. I went into
How is
winging
that?
super overconfident, kicked my ass for about 3 weeks, and then it just clicked and I was able to do it. Um,
Which pairwing did you get?
I have right now I have a Fly Surfer 4, but I think I'm
The
gonna
PAL?
get yeah, I think I'm gonna get the Frigate too. Um,
The frigate is easier to handle. If you
yeah,
get into overpowered situations, though, you cannot depower it that well. Yes, it stays stable, but as soon as you're
okay,
on the upper wind limit, it is really hard to hold on. Whereas the POW, it got a very good depower, but the longer lines was going to make it more difficult. Also, the bar is pretty big, but super comfortable, I think.
okay, cool.
Do you have
Were you
any
a were you
chance?
a kite guy also?
Well, I did kite, but not super long. I used to be a
Okay,
windsurfer. Then
okay,
I
gotcha.
kited because just I thought, well, I cannot always hate on the kiters. I have to try it as
Mhm.
well. Then I actually liked it a lot, but still, like the long lines, we don't have beaches here, so to get out, it was always kind of a hassle, like going in between
Yeah,
trees and whatnot. And then when foiling came, or when I saw foiling, I thought, well, I'm gonna go do some kite foiling because it needs less wind, so it's better for the family as well.
uh-huh.
And then when winging started, thought, well, that looks stupid. But I still did it because you don't have the line problem, right? And you can go out
Yeah,
wherever without
exactly.
problem. So that was my journey. Um, I think it helped a bit, but what really helped, and I'm curious if you have that possibility to go on a skateboard or something similar to actually use it on land as much as possible.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a skater. I just bang my my knees and elbows too many times, and I quit. That's probably the only I snowboard and are used to snowboard and do every board sport, but no skating for me.
I'm not a skater either, but look, just
Yeah.
standing on a skateboard and just move along, like go straight with the pair wing in the hand,
Yeah.
just to feel the movement of the pair wing. Actually, that I think is really, really important.
Well, the cool part about here in our wind spot is it's actually a good place to do downwinds to learn. So
Mhm.
we can kind of get dropped upwind, and the wind is side on to my from over my shoulder. So I'll be front side going out to sea.
Okay, nice.
Um so I'll be able to stand up with my left foot forward, and then just use the power wing to go straight, just get up and go downwind. So I feel like if I have big enough equipment and it's stable enough, I should be able to learn just going downwind on the board. So that was a big thing about getting the board. My biggest wing right now with code is the 1130. So I don't know if I need something bigger.
No, I think that's fine. I think it's important to get out first when it's flat or flat-ish, because
Okay.
you don't have if you have the wing, you can actually hold the wing with your the wind with your wing, but with the pair wing, you cannot really like hold yourself. It's more a balance on the board, like the
Hmm.
balance board that I'm doing now, but more like
Yeah.
balancing on the board and just holding the wing and not
Uh-huh.
like being able to get your balance to the wing.
You can't like pump yourself up, right? You just have to kind of point downwind and
You can pump a bit, but you
yeah.
cannot like correct your balance with the pair wing.
Okay.
So it's more
Interesting.
the pair wing gets you out of balance, and the wind wing I feel like can help you with balance.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't been on a big board for so long either, so I need to get a 95. I'm about
And like
80,
a
82 kilos.
narrowish one.
No, I'm gonna get like a straight power wing board. With my
Okay.
age, I don't see myself ever kind of doing like a true downwind sup kind of thing. I
Oh
had
no,
aspirations
that's
of that a
over,
few
man.
years back, but it just kind of passed. We're such a wave spot, like so even with the power wing, I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, this would be cool to use in waves more than downwind. Like we have waves every day, which are just perfect falling waves, head high to a couple feet overhead. Um, so I think that's one of the reasons that I because it's uncrowded and there's always waves here, I think it's one of the reasons that downwind never really took off that much here, that all of us guys were mostly just in waves all the time. Whether it's tow, wing, or prone. Because it's
Okay.
really accessible and there's no crowds. Um, I look at them, why is everybody downwinding? I think it has a lot to do with the crowds too. That that's where you're going to get away from all the surfers.
Definitely. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we just don't have that problem here. We've got all our own waves and warm water. So it's cool.
Well, that
Yeah.
that was a perfect ad, man, for Montanita and your foil retreat. That is amazing. Is there anything else, Robbie, that you want to add and you want to tell the world?
No, I mean, I really appreciate you having me on to talk about the retreat in Ecuador. Love showing Ecuador to people that are interested in coming down. So feel free to send me a note, and I'll happily jump on the phone with you, answer any questions, or and help you through the process of reserving at my hotel or a tour through Ecuador Foil.
Perfect. So people can find the link down in the description. And thank you much for listening, for watching. Maybe leave a review on Spotify or a bunch of stars on Apple Podcasts. And see you guys in the next one.
Cool. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.